Road in Milton. The application was filed on June 1st, 2021, and the applicant is 16 Amer Road LLC, and they're seeking authorization to construct a 16-unit rental apartment development on Amer Road, which is on 16 Amer Road, which is located in the Residence A zoning district. Jesse Schomer of the firm of Regnante Stereo of Wakefield, Massachusetts, the attorney for the applicant is present. And welcome back to the Board of Appeals, Mr. Schomer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leonard. Good evening.
It's good to see you again. We still find ourselves in the position where we are in a position of hold due to the number of 40B applications that are still technically pending, but we're wrapping up several of them, I think, within the next month or so. So it's a hope and expectation that we can get this application going with some degree of dispatch in the very near future. In the interim, it's my understanding that the applicant has agreed to continue this particular hearing date until December 2nd. Yes, December 2nd, 2021 at 7 o'clock in the evening, at which time we'll have a better assessment as to how the other 40Bs are proceeding. Let me ask you, Mr. Schomer, do you want to be heard, or do you have anything you wish to add?
Just a question, if I may. The December 2nd hearing, is that another scheduling hearing, or is that intended to be opening of evidence, just for our preparation purposes?
I think it's going to be another continuance hearing, but
okay.
if we're see that we're ready to go and you can be ready to go in a time shorter than 30 days, we'll certainly entertain that if we can. We'll have a better idea as we're approaching December 2nd, and we can certainly discuss the logistics of it to make sure that you and your client have all the necessary time to prepare, and obviously that your expert witnesses are also available. And if we find that you need additional time to organize or for witness attendance, then we'll exercise our broadest discretion to accommodate you, because you've been very, very cooperative and helpful to us, keeping this application on track. And it's my understanding that the peer reviewers are working on this application at the present time. I certainly hope that's the case. I have not talked with Judy specifically about that, but I've made a note, and I'll make sure that any progress we can be making on this application in the next 30 days or so, that we use this valuable time to everyone's advantage. So that we have before us here a motion to continue this by agreement until October 2nd. Before we vote on that, I'm sorry, December 2nd. Let me just ask whether there's anybody present who wants to be heard on this particular continuance application.
There are not.
Okay. There being no person present, by agreement of the parties, we're going to continue this application until December 2nd at 7 p.m. and look forward at that time to hopefully being near the date when we can actually begin evidentiary hearings on this application. So unless you have something further to add, Mr. Schomer, thank you for your time and your cooperation, and we'll be in touch as things progress. And I think you may know better than we do on some of these other matters when they're going to be wrapped up, and we'll do our best to accommodate you and your client.
I know nothing, Mr. Chair, although perhaps Mr. O'Brien does. All I hear is that the attorney on those other projects is terrible.
Well, let's we'll look forward to seeing you on December 2nd at 7 o'clock. But in the meantime, Bev will be in touch so that we stay on the proper track.
Very good. Thank you.
Have a good evening, and we're going
You as well.
to adjourn this particular meeting. And there's a 7:15 meeting that Mr. O'Brien is here on, and I believe that's 936 Brush Hill Avenue or Road. I don't know which it is.
Road.
Okay, so what I will do is take my leave and appear again as soon as Mr. O'Brien has taken care of his continuance.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Right.
Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you.
John.
Thank you, Frank. Good luck with your continuance, and we'll do our best to get that case going as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. We're just going to have to wait 7 or 8 minutes until the 7:15 time frame, and then we'll get the ball rolling in a very similar fashion. So
Okay, that sounds good. I'll drop off for a minute then myself and be back in just a moment.
okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, are we going to do the same thing? Continue, assume that, well, not assume, that's not a very good word. For that December 2nd will be, you'll decide on the 2nd as to.
Yes, from John's mouth to your ears, exactly we'll be doing exactly the same thing. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Appeals. This is our 7:15 hearing for the evening relative to the application pertaining to 936 Brush Hill Road, which is a comprehensive proposal under the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 40B, relative to building a 20-unit rental apartment at the noted address. The purpose of this hearing is solely to address scheduling and logistical issues relative to this particular application. And pursuant to the provisions of 211 CMR 5605, paragraph 3, we are once again, with the agreement of the parties, going to extend this hearing to December 2nd at 7:15 p.m. At that point in time, we will reevaluate where we are and in all likelihood, look at scheduling further substantive action on this particular application. Mr. Sharma, we of course will reevaluate where we are on that particular date. I think it's fair to say that we're getting closer to this particular hearing kicking off. I think we should wait until the 2nd so that we can discuss specific dates, logistics, et cetera. Want to make sure that you and other parties in interest certainly have enough time and enough notice to make sure that everything that you want to have prepared, experts, et cetera, are in place. Is that agreeable to you, sir?
That is agreeable. Yes, thank you. We appreciate that.
All right. And so with that, by agreement, this hearing is going to be extended to December 2nd, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. And with that, I'd like to bring this public hearing to a close. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good
Sean.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the October 28th hearing of the Milton Board of Appeals at 7:30 p.m. And the matter before the board is 728 Randolph Avenue. My name is John Leonard. I'm chairman of the Board of Appeals. We have with us board member Michael Brown and board member Nick, come on, Nick. help me.
Gray, that's okay.
Mr. Gray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you. This is a hearing where the applicant is USC LLC, and they're represented by attorney Peter Freeman of Yarmouthport. The proposal here is to build a 4-story building with approximately 40 units. I had correspondence back and forth with attorney Freeman this afternoon. Mr. Freeman is actually on trial as we speak in a 40B application dealing with property in Oak Bluffs on Martha's Vineyard. And he is unable to be with us. He asked to be excused, and he asked that his client be excused from attending the meeting. And I granted those requests. We discussed a continuation date for this particular 728 Randolph Avenue application. And we agreed on December 2nd, 2021 at 7:30 as an agreed upon continuance date. So we could then see what the status of pending 40B projects are and whether and when we can start this particular application for hearing. So let me see, Mr. Gray, do you have any comments or words of wisdom regarding the application for a continuance to December 2nd?
Yeah, I'm certainly in favor of continuing the hearing to a date in the future. I'm looking at my calendar for December 2nd, and it's probably out of date, but I've got the East Milton residences on that date on my calendar. Is that at 7 o'clock on the 2nd of December? Is that still on? It was probably one of those repeating things that it got moved, and I just didn't change it.
So that, should I pipe in?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. You can pipe in anytime, Bev.
Okay, so the East Milton is November 4th. The reason you have December in your mind is because we extended the deadline to December 2nd.
Okay,
And that's fluid.
that's fine. I'm certainly fine with December 2nd for the Randolph Avenue hearing.
Okay, great, Nick. Thank you. And on these Milton residences, we're dealing with Judy Barrett in our consultants regarding the most recent 212-page so-called update of the project to determine the nature of the update. And Judy is trying to determine when it would be feasible for our peer reviewers to complete the review of the so-called update and prepare reports for us regarding the present status of the project. My guess is that the November 4th date is probably going to be a continuation date because the peer reviewers are just enormously busy with other work, and there's a lot of analysis that is going to have to go into the 212-page update. But Mike Brown, do you have any comments regarding the request for a continuance?
Yeah, hi, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would vote in favor of granting the application for a continuance. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And I'm available on the 2nd.
Oh, that's great. So, Bev, is there anybody present out there in virtual land who wants to be heard?
There's nobody.
Okay. So if there's no further business, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor of continuing this particular hearing until December 2nd, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. By agreement of all of the parties, please say aye.
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 Well, the motion carries 3-0. So we're over to December 2nd at 7:30 p.m. Is there any further business before the meeting, Nick?
Not here, no.
Okay, and how about you, Mike? You have anything to add or you want to say?
Nothing from me. Good
Okay,
to see you guys.
that's great. And Bev, are we all set as far as you're concerned?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, so we are adjourned on this particular application until December 2nd, 2021 at 7:30 in the evening, and we'll be in touch with all of the parties as to how things are progressing on the other 40B projects. So thank you for attending tonight. This is heroic service.
You're very welcome.
Tuning in for this exciting continuance.
I wouldn't miss it. Always good to see you guys.
Nice to see you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Bev.
you very much.
All right.
You're welcome.
Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Night. Good night, Bev.
Good night.
Thank you very much. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, perfect.
Great.
Thank you, John. Good night.
Bye-bye.